Ooh, I hope I inspire other people's little moments. But I get
I
inspired
can
by other people's.
guarantee you have. I can
Aw.
guarantee you because I have gotten feedback where somebody's like, I just love listening to Mary. She's got such great uh, oh gosh, now my brain's bonked.
My
Just that you're
NPR
just like
voice.
you're yeah, not just your NPR voice, but like your inspirational takes on things. So it's like you're just
Aw.
very positive and very uplifting. So I know we've gushed before on each other, so other people will be like, "Oh my God, these two, they're just so in love. Just get married, why
I
don't you?"
know. Oh, we totally are in love.
We
Love
are in
you.
love. I love you, Mary.
Oh, I love you, Serena. My bestie.
No.
I saw this thing that was like, I was going to send it to you. It was something like, I'm so glad that we found each other in this lifetime, and let's hope that we get to do that for all the lifetimes after, too.
Not hope. We're going to find each other lifetime over lifetime. That's literally how I
Oh,
feel. So I
we will. Unless,
feel
like,
like
we're
when you have
trees or something,
our roots will still like find some way through the
Yes.
network or we'll, touch underneath the soil, whatever. We'll find each other.
Totally. Oh, we will. I
So
believe
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So I feel at least inspired by the idea and the fantastical aspect of reincarnation and future lives and parallel universes and all that fun stuff. So
Yeah, me too. I
yeah.
love when I find someone from like I like to say someone from an alternative timeline, right?
Yeah.
Like a friend. Oh my gosh, I was literally in the city, and in this one experience of me being in the city, I
Uh-huh.
saw someone I knew. I saw two of versions of them in alternate timelines. It was fabulous. Oh my gosh. It
What?
was so cool. I didn't even
Oh,
speak to them. I just saw them and I knew, and I was like, oof, it was cool.
so was it something you knew that they were connected in some way or that they were the same person in different timelines, like sliding doors kind
Yeah.
of level?
I I felt like they were the same person, but in different
Oh, that's so cool.
timelines.
Do you ever
It
feel
was
like
cool to
that's like
see.
our doppelgangers are kind of like the similar sense, like where people's like, you remind me of someone, and I'm like, okay. you'd,
Yes.
you'd like to think that you're so unique that you'd be like, oh, I'm the only one like this, or at
Right.
least like, but yeah, I think like, yeah, some version of you is going a different direction somewhere out there. So
Yeah, I think that's so cool. Although I'm not sure
yeah.
if someone's ever found my doppelganger out there.
I always felt like if somebody could play you in a film, like, earlier on, I don't know now because I haven't seen her in anything recently, but Anna Faris, for sure. I was like just her energy, like, in general, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah?
she was anyway, yeah.
Oh,
So
that's so
she's
fun.
she's got that warmth and, like, sweetness to her and this, like, wicked sense of humor and just that take no prisoners kinda aspect that you have sometimes
Yeah.
where I just really appreciate you for it. So I'm like, I wanna see how Mary's going to react to this one, so
I love it. Catch me in the next comedy.
yeah. So, well, we've been going for a second here, which is totally fine. I feel
Yes.
like we're kind of getting back into the swing of things. It feels like we haven't talked to each other in ages, but I know we
Yeah.
have. It's just
Right.
been life's been crazy. Life be life and
Life be life, and my new favorite quote.
yeah. So I will at least say, hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of the Then When podcast with your hosts Serena and
And Mary,
yay. So
welcome. It's good to have you here. Thank you guys so much for continuing to tune in to our fun little show here that we love doing. And we've gotten so much fun feedback on. It is really inspiring to me to hear other people's wonderful stories of things that have come up for them for listening to our podcast, or things that they've taken action on based off of, things that we've said or episodes here and there. And so that's been really cool.
yeah, I've loved like the little notes here and there, and I know it's not the bold maneuver of coming on to the actual podcast to share them, but I really do feel that it has been such a heartwarming experience to just have the sidebar conversations with people to say, hey, I did listen to this, I heard you, and I've heard it from like random people have been so surprised that listen, and it does warm my heart because it has been truly across generations. Like, it has expanded across, like, from, I'll say, alpha to boomer at this point. So it's
Wow.
not that I wanna classify, but I'm like, "Hey, we're actually, speaking to something that's resonating with everybody." And I think that's really, really a genuinely loving and, uh, kind and sweet gesture to hear back from. So,
Yeah.
because really we're just riffing, we're just talking and hanging out, we're sharing stories, we're bringing on our friends. um,
Yeah.
and I love that too, that they trust us enough to come sit with us and, hope to inspire other people. And we have some more folks, just so you know, it's, if you think you don't have something to talk about, I beg to differ,
Oh,
especially
same.
if you're in our life. Like, honestly, I'm like, "Okay, I could tell you something interesting about every person I know." So
Yeah.
and then I'd be like, "This is what I think is incredible about you." And they're like, "What?" So it's
Exactly. It's so funny because, like, people when my friends talk to me about the podcast, they're like, whatever feedback they're giving. And then I'll say, like, well, you could be on the podcast. And they're like, No, I have nothing to talk about. What would I say? And I'm like, you inspire me all the time. You have so many then when moments or things going on in your life that I'm sure other people would love to hear. And you know what, though, that highlights for me is that when we're doing something, we think that that thing is our normal thing, right? And so
Mhm.
it doesn't seem like a bright and shiny piece to maybe share with the world. But then I love like having an outsider's perspective on, something and saying like, no, that is a bright, shiny piece. Share it with the world. Let us all hear
Yes.
you.
It's wonderful when it's somebody you know because you already have that established trust kind of already
Mm-hmm.
baked in, or not, I wouldn't say baked in, but earned, right? And
Yeah.
cultivated and built. And then it's something totally different when it comes out of left field.
Mm.
And I feel that that's part of this episode today is we're talking about inspiration. We're talking about when it catches us off guard, or like when we also find that we have provided it and it catches us off guard that we were the source of it. So,
Yeah.
um, so I have been teasing this particular uh, part, or this story for quite some time on our podcast, um, and I do love to tell the story. I think it's just so special and has such a little bit of magic to it that
Mm-hmm.
is something that I still carry to this day. And it was only one singular interaction with this individual. And it has impressed upon me to this day. And I think I'm looking up here over in the corner is I have the business card of this person. And I held on to it so tightly, like it was this cherished treasure that I received from this individual that just what it did was it locked in that moment in exchange that I had with them. And to this day, I am still so inspired and I still have this like kind of undertone that I kind of apply like what would this person have thought or done, in this scenario. So
Yeah. So
so
get
yeah.
with it, girl. Share that story. I love listening to it.
Oh, you're so sweet and very generous with sitting with this. And I, I will say is that we often talk about being in the hypnosis of life and you just kind of doing your own thing and you're setting on a task and you basically write your code and you execute the code in your body computer and you're like, okay, I'm going to go to the mailbox or I'm going to go and do this chore, and you're just kind of in the zone at that point, and your brain's kind of thinking about things just like, oh, did I leave the kettle on? Those kinds of things. And, uh, and this one knocked me out. And guess where? It started in Mary's favorite place,
Where is that?
the grocery store.
The
So,
grocery store. I
yes,
love the grocery store. It's like a beautiful hub of
it
of
is.
everyone, of just human beings, right? I have so many fantastic moments in grocery stores. So let's hear
I,
yours.
well, I honestly feel like grocery stores and airports are such a cool people watching
Mm.
place. So,
Yeah.
even though, like, you're there for, very specific things, typically, like, you're there to pick up somebody at the airport or drop someone off at the air or you're just passing through at the airport, whatever. And then at the grocery store, you're there with intention, right? You're there to go and get something. And this day was very much just I was on the mode to go and finish and get everything that was on my grocery list that day. And I remember, and the only reason why I remember this particular detail is because it's how the conversation started. And I had a green shirt on, and I rarely ever wear green. If you kind of roll back the beautiful bean footage of our of our podcast, I'm probably likely in a darker color, a black, navy blue, whatever, or gray. And because I like to spruce up things and color in different ways. Anyway, so um, so I happen to be wearing green this day, and I'm walking around with half of the list, and my partner has the other half of the list, and we're walking around, and all of a sudden, this elderly gentleman, just all of a sudden stops me and goes, "Are you Irish?" And I was like, "No, that's interesting." I said, "I was actually born in Germany." I said, "But I'm curious, why do you think I'm Irish?" He goes, "Well, you wear green really, really well." And I was like, "Well, that is very sweet." So he starts chatting and striking up conversation and just really engaging in just a sweet aura, like a really genuinely kind and caring aura about him. And so it knocked me out of my brain space of just going, what's the next thing on my list? Or, what do I need to do after I'm doing grocery shopping? And he really just held my attention, and to the point where, I'm sitting there and I'm having a conversation, and then, Chris is walking up and he's looking at me like, "Who is this guy who's talking to Serena?" And I'm like, like, "Hey, come on over here. This is interesting." So
Right.
he starts asking, no, to be fair, like, I'm in the South. He's an elderly gentleman, and he starts talking politics, which to me, I'm always
Oof.
like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just trying to be very middle of the road because I don't want to start a debate in the yogurt aisle,
Yeah.
And so and yeah, I mean, I will say that I was like a little bit tense with him asking certain questions. And this is about 2011 timeframe. 2012, just to kind of give you an idea. So he asked us how we felt about the president, and we were like, "Okay, great. Well, this is what we like. This is what we would like better, this kind of stuff." And he goes, "Well, I just love him. I love him. I love him." And we were both like floored. And I was like, "Okay, great." And he goes, "I just think like when he's embracing all these things about scientific like advancement, and he's really like kind of this global educator kind of idea in the space, like he wants to be inclusive, all this stuff." And he just starts just being so bright and full of wonder. Like, and you can see him just glow, 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 glow beyond. I mean, just the conversation. He's just absolutely just beaming. And
Mhm.
and I'm sitting there, I'm feeding off the beam. I'm having just a great conversation with him. And um and he goes, "I am 80 years old and I wish I could live another 80 just to see how we progress as a human race." He goes,
Oh.
"With all of the advancements that we're having." So his sense of wonder, his sense of whimsy,
Yeah.
everything that he locked in, and he shared that, excitement with me, a total stranger that he just struck up a conversation with at the grocery store. And, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know if I want this conversation to end. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I'm like, is there a bench somewhere we could just go sit down and chat? Like, I would love to have that conversation and continue it. And then all of a sudden, his wife comes up and she's like, "Let these people go. You've got, plenty." I'm like, "Look at that guy over there. He's picking this up. It's very interesting. Let's go talk to him." So they're like, it was a very sweet exchange that the two of them spent time. They go to this hub, right? And they connect with their community. And he
Yeah.
gave me his card and he was like, "Hey, reach out to me. I do estate planning." Well, I mean, he wasn't trying to pitch me, but he was like, "Hey,
Right.
it's been a great conversation." So I have his card. So, Mr. Hubert Holland, I don't even need his card. He's literally here forever and ever. And his wife,
Oh.
Naomi. And she was, I say was, and I'm giving away, she was a travel agent. And they were just a mile up the way from where we lived to go and
Wow.
go and talk. And I'm only regretful that I didn't go to have more conversations with him, because I did look him up a little bit later and I did find out that he had passed away from cancer that same year. So that same year,
Oh.
like knowing that he probably already had his diagnosis, that he was still so full of this joy for the world that and then he challenged my feeling of, and I wanna say like a stereotype, but like an idea of, he was pressing on something that I was like, "Oh, geez, this is not something that people usually talk about in open or public mixed company kinda thing." And it
Yeah.
was just a really, really engaging conversation without it being confrontational. So what I did find in that, and, like, learning more about Hubert and Naomi Holland, is
Mhm.
that, they never had children themselves, and they were, stewards of their communities, so they would donate things to the education and libraries and stuff like that. They were very big proponents for keeping, you know, uh, knowledge alive, and
Yeah.
sharing it with people. So they really embraced that, even though they didn't have technically their own blood legacy to push to continue it on. They did it through just reaching out and touching individuals. I don't know if I'm the only person, and oh my gosh, I would love to hear if there was somebody else out there that got the pleasure to just bump into these two. They
Yeah.
were such a delight. And so I hope wherever, whatever next parallel or whatever, next life that those two have, that, that they share it again and they share and inspire it for themselves and others. So I know I carry it to this day, and it still makes me so happy to have had that experience.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's so sweet. And he does, they do live on through you, through all of the community outreach they did, and you then pass that on to other people as well, like you're doing now, like you do when you go to the grocery store sometimes, maybe, or wherever you're going in the coffee shop or whatever.
Aside of just, like, recommending, "This yogurt is the best yogurt," and see, now I've now made 2 yogurt references about the grocery store. It's almost like I'm Jamie Lee Curtis in her Activia. She's like, "Ooh, I'm regular." So,
Activia,
but,
hit us up for
yeah,
a sponsorship.
link in show
Link in
notes.
the show notes.
So,
Do they still make that? Maybe not. Who
yeah, they
knows?
sure do, they sure
They
do.
do? All
Yeah,
right. Hit
she's
us
just
up
not
for
pitching it.
sponsorship. We got your new pitch person here, Serena.
Boy.
No,
So
but no, that's so true though. Like honestly, this when we were talking about, things that inspire us, and I love this story that you have here. And I don't have like a specific story, so to speak, but I was really thinking like what really inspires me. And I think that I just get inspired by things like that, like everyday human interactions. I get inspired a lot by kids, I even get inspired by like someone who's holding the door for me. And then
Mhm.
I then hold the door for someone else. It's these little moments and actions that I don't know, maybe tell me that there's more good in the world than we think, or that gets highlighted out there. And
Right.
to me, that's really inspiring.
Yeah, I think like when you notice, we go back to noticing, is that when you're paying attention to how other people participate in the universe, and then how you get to participate in the universe, you really get to deal with this special alchemy when you're putting something good out there, and it might not be
Yeah.
some, it doesn't have to be a huge overture. It just, a lot of people say like if you smile at a stranger, you could spread their smile, beyond. Some people might just have a cranky day and you just can't you can't get through to
Yeah.
them, but hopefully like it softens them just a little bit. But I think when we do that noticing, we can challenge some of those hardened ideas that we get sometimes with the news cycle, with the way sometimes social media plays out, and just us kind of observing in that passive, like consumption space, it's just as important to monitor that you are intaking healthy, information, and when I say
Yeah.
healthy, I mean true, you know, um, critical, it's putting it through the filters of and really kind of keeping an open mind and objectiveness to it, so you're not putting emotion first and foremost into it, right? And when we're doing that, when we're actually, putting forth that effort, we will then start to see how our minds react with that. We start to see how we promote what is good, what is
Yeah.
kind. So, like, in a lot of cases, like, I will, anytime, like, there's information that kind of flows through me, like, if it's information, like, I always kinda look at it, go, "Is this my information to distribute?" Sometimes it depends on who my audience is
Mm,
too, because I have my people that I know are a vault. I definitely take that seriously for myself. When you're telling me something in confidence, I'm like, I'm locked down, like Fort Knox. This is like, "Do not, you cannot," I
right.
really wanna protect when somebody is being vulnerable with me, like, I don't want to mess that up, That's, kinda,
Yeah.
I guess, the brand, right? But without it being a brand, that's just who I wanna be. And, um,
Yeah.
and
It's who
so
you
it's
are.
that think pattern, right? Is this, true? Is it helpful? Is it necessary? Is it kind? I think the I is, like, inspiring or whatever, um, but I've seen it as THNK, and so to kind of put things through that particular filter, it kinda comes through from, like, how we're also engaging with something in the social space. And that's not even just behind the screen, that's also at the grocery store, when we're merging onto the
Yep.
highway,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I definitely I definitely have the little, demon that pops up on my shoulder sometimes when I'm driving and I'm like, "Ugh," that fairness, the
You?
balance and
No.
stuff. No. So so I try to be much more aware of it, but sometimes the day gets the best of me, and I am not as strong
For
as
sure.
I as I think I am to be able
Yeah.
to reach into those good moments. But but I take stock of that and I go, okay, what am I going to do better tomorrow or the next
Right.
time I'm in the car? Those kinds of things. So,
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's not about being this perfect open person all the time, right? That's literally not possible because we're human beings and things ebb and flow with us, right? And so it's just about trying to be better
hmm
and having those moments where maybe I am in a grouchy mood for whatever reason, or I'm rushing, right? Oh gosh, there was a time in my life where I felt like I was always rushing. And that didn't always sit well with me, right? Sometimes it made me a little grouchy. But you know what picked me up? Like, honestly, something silly as somebody saying hi to me or giving me a smile or holding the door open. And then that was the noticing that
hmm
was the catalyst to me being like, oh, yeah, I do feel better when I feel like a nice person, you know?
right.
And so it's just about giving yourself grace and trying to be better the next time.
hmm And really also looking at another person through your lens too, right? Is going, that person I've had the same type of day as, and I do try to
Yeah.
I do give a lot of grace. And I know sometimes when we've talked about things and you're like, I'm just really frustrated with how this is going on. And I'm like, well, maybe this is what that person's going through. And you're like, no, Serena, sometimes it's just not that. And I was like, well, I'm just trying to give a little bit of space on that because,
Yeah.
we don't know what the overnight reset has even set into someone's brain. When they wake up in the morning, did they have good rest? Did they have a really weird
Right.
dream? Did they have a really great dream? And how does that impact and what are they carrying? And I know you cannot be in the paralysis of analyzing people's demeanors through that lens all the time because you are your own human being, your own machine that you're, meat sack here that we're we're moving around and it's not perfect. It's not
Potato
perfect.
sack, we're vegetarians, come on.
Well, I mean, we are made of muscle and stuff, so I don't know. We're gonna
Fine, we'll say meat sack. It just sounds so yucky.
Well, I mean, our souls have to sit in something,
I
so,
guess
but,
fine. Our
but
soul sack.
our soul sack.
That doesn't sound better.
TM. Delicious.
Oh gosh.
What's the recipe?
Ugh.
So, I know. But, yeah, I just, I whew, I think, like, more and more, as the days have been kinda going on, and some of them, like, the spring has been springing, and it's been, um, uplifting, but in it too, there's so many things that I feel like the day cannot, like, allow me to do. Like, there's too much to
Yeah.
do in one particular day. So that makes me a little grumpy because I do wanna do it all. I always wanna do it
Yeah.
all. Hence this podcast is still the reason why is like, "Hey, backlog, let's take care of it. Let's get these things done. Let's move, move, move." Like,
Right.
not because I have to produce, but, like, to move energy. Like, that's really
Right.
how I feel. Not necessarily like you have to be you can only be of value if you produce something. I'm going, "Hey, if I move this stack from here to here and it's lessened by the stuff that I just, you know, edited and audited from there to there, I feel like I've made some progress, and it could be
Right.
one receipt that I decided, no, I don't need that anymore. And I throw it away,
Right.
and that's the most minimal. It could just be I opened my eyes today and I'm doing just fine with that. But
Yeah.
the inspiration that we find and the inspiration that we hope to impart upon other people is again that is like we don't know who we're inspiring and through what action.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we don't wanna be disingenuous to go, "I'm just gonna set out to inspire everybody today," I'm going to, make grand overtures going, "Hey, everybody, look, I'm opening the door for all the people who are going to be walking through,"
Yeah, but that would be
That's
crazy, right? Like,
Yeah,
you'd be late for whatever you were doing, and I think
right.
that highlights such a nice point, though, that it's not about, like, holding the door for everyone that's gonna walk by while you're at the store, right? Then you're a door person. Um, it's just about these little moments, that in your regular day that can really inspire other people just by being. And, that doesn't always happen. Granted, we all have our moments and, we all have days where that are variable, but it's about the overall, how can we inspire goodness in the world and in each other and really uplift one another?
Mhm. And, like, when I think about that, I think about the types of interactions we have. Not that we're always like in that. We can totally veg out together, you and I, and we could just sit there and kind of be lumps for a moment. But I see the things that you do, and even by virtue of the things that you have shared with me, and like right now, and whether or not you want, to share it, is like us being on this particular chat right now, I know is not necessarily been the easiest for you for like the last week because you've been under the
I've
weather.
been so sick. I know.
You almost made it through, it was
I
just like, but
almost
you
got there, but it didn't work out.
yeah, it's okay. You're still here though, then that's I'm grateful for it. But,
Oh,
but those little things, even your texts that you'll send me are inspirational because sometimes I'll just be
aw.
in a space and then I see you just send me something really sweet. Those are the things that we take for granted or that people see about us is going, "You had the perfectly placed, uh, communication to me, something that made you think of me that you sent, and it changed how I felt about stuff," and I
Yeah,
can go outside and I can see, animals jumping around, and it makes me happy, to see them, like, living their best life, and I could see my dogs kicking my pillows off the couch, and I'm just like, "These guys are mental, but I love them so much," so it's finding the little joys and the little inspirations to go, yeah, if the dog's, like, moving and doing its thing, then maybe I need to be going and moving and getting outside and moving around, take them with me, whatever it is, and so,
yeah. And you know what, though? Even you inspired me the other day because I was sick and it was such a bummer. And like sometimes when you're sick, it's like, oh man, I have this dark cloud over me. I'm sick. I can't do all of these things that I was planning on doing and whatnot. And just hearing that you were visiting friends made me so joyful. It did inspire
Mhm.
me. I was like, "Oh yeah, life is fine. I'm just having this lull where I'm sick in bed." And it wasn't all bad. I did watch a bunch of movies,
Hey, you
but
caught up.
yeah, but
Which
like
movie? Do you
even
see
little
anything
things.
cool? Like, good?
Not really.
No. Okay. So even the little
Just
things.
those kinds of movies. Just
Got
like
you.
movies that help you take you out of your space a little bit. When I'm
Gotcha.
sick, sometimes I watch either like comedy movies or rom-com kind of movies
Gotcha.
just to like travel to another time and space.
Did you have a bed and breakfast you needed to save from your old hometown? Were you on, like, the Lifetime or Hallmark
No,
movie?
not like that, not like that.
Okay. But yeah, so
But yeah, it's like, so basically what we're trying to say here is reach out to your friends, your community, chat with people, even if you don't think you're extroverted. And I say extroverted in quotes because a lot of times people say to me like, "Oh, you're so extroverted, blah 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 blah." But that's not always true for me. And it does require a lot for me to be extroverted when I'm out and stuff like that. And so maybe I'm not always like that all the time. It depends what kind of mood you're in. But I bet, holding the door or even just smiling to someone you make eye contact with. Isn't eye contact so weird sometimes? It's like, oh no, somebody saw me looking at them.
Yeah,
Not that you
I
were
don't
like
know.
staring, but
I don't
but
know, maybe I could sit there and just look at somebody like,
that would be
Don't
weird.
try that."
No,
I'd
don't
be
do
like,
that. But,
Don't do
when
that."
somebody catches your eye and you're out, a
Mhm.
friendly smile goes such a long way.
Yeah.
Texting a friend and just saying like, "Hey, how have you been?" Or sending them, a funny emoji. I love emojis.
Mhm.
And just sending them like a funny emoji or whatever can totally change someone's day. Like whenever I text you, I don't know what's going on in your life, right? And so I have no idea if like you're busy or, I don't know what kind of mood you're in or whatnot. And so I'm
I'm
just,
definitely surveilling you from your front yard and your bushes there,
oh
so
my
I'm always like,
gosh,
"Mary's sick today, I'm gonna send her some soup."
don't judge my grass.
No. Oh my god. I
Oh
think
my
I'm on a
gosh.
like, an unofficial rewilding project in my front yard right now, much to the, dismay of my neighbors. I was like, "Maybe I need to take care of these dandelions." Who knows?
Oh my
So
gosh, that's adorable.
oh my
I like
gosh.
to joke that because I live in nature, so I mean, I guess we all live in nature, but um I like to joke that I like to keep my property like the forest, untouched.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still wanna do a little bit of fun stuff. So I'm feeling
For
inspired. I'm
sure.
feeling inspired by the season. I'm feeling inspired by other, my neighbors who are getting out. I have, our friend who she's always so good about her yard and her garden, and so I've been just kinda picking her brain here and there. I've got, like, little schematics drawn up. I've got my neighbors. I'm like, "Hey, guys, what do you think about us doing this kind of thing together?" So I'm trying to get a
Oh,
little bit
fun.
of collaboration going on, um,
Cool.
because I don't want just a flat lawn. Like I want it to have pollinator spaces, and I want it to have points of interest, and I
Nice.
want it to be very cottagey. Because if I can't
Ooh.
live in the woods like Baba Yaga and her chicken-legged hut, I definitely want at least some element of whimsical secret garden level,
Ooh.
like deliciousness out front.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm hopefully
Oh,
maybe that's
awesome.
inspiring somebody else to get out into their garden too. Who knows? But uh
Yes.
yeah.
Spring is such an interesting, or if we think of the seasons that we have in a year, I don't know why I said that. When we
How
think
many
of the seasons,
how many seasons do we have, Mary?
well, it
It's
depends where
okay.
you live, I guess, right? Let's
But
say that's congestion brain happening. No, but
mhm,
when I think of the seasons, it's so amazing that nature has this way of like resting, right? Like
mhm,
winter, I'm from the Northeast, so winter is our time of resting, right?
Is that
And
six
then
months worth of
oh
winter?
god, it's way too long. And then, spring comes and it's like a rebirth and it's just like a wow, everything is blooming again and everything feels so alive, you know? And then summer comes and it's like, yeah, we're like fully into this and you just feel so, I don't know, I feel so like euphoric and joyful and just everything, you feel like you're like living the good life. And then fall comes, and fall is so beautiful here. And, things change color, and then the trees start to lose their leaves. And then you kind of have this like natural progression of like slowing down and getting ready for winter. And so I think there is a lot to be said for, us connecting to nature and kind of maybe using those seasons as a way of like guiding what we're doing in our own lives. Although I'd be interested to hear what Scuba Steve's take on this is since he lives in California and
Constant summer.
oh, it
So
sounds so great.
we'll have to bring him back on and have him talk about all of the fluctuations of the 2 degrees between 75 and 73 degrees out on the West Coast. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I love it when you go out there and it adjusts, and then all of a sudden everybody's in these like parkas with the fur, and you're like, it's literally 70 degrees, guys. And they're like, nope,
Yeah.
nope, can't handle it. So,
Yes,
no,
us Northeast
much love to our California people. So,
totally.
and listeners, but yeah, maybe we're just a little jelly, whatever. So,
So jelly. Oh,
mm.
I love seeing Florida people in their jackets when it's like, what, 65 down there. I'm like, guys, please, that's shorts and dress weather up here.
Right. I love like Canadians coming down and they're wearing shorts in the middle of winter, and you're like, what are you? And like flip flops. You're
Yep.
like, all right, it's like you're just used to it. You're programmed. You're you're essentially conditioned, through that. So
Yeah.
I know
But
we've kind of like. Well, go ahead.
well,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, but that totally highlights perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not
Mm-hmm.
like one is bad or whatever, but it just is what it is. Like, sure, we giggle a little bit when Florida people have their jackets on in 60-degree weather, but also it's perspective, and that's so beautiful for me to see. It's just that noticing of like, oh yeah, we all have our different perspectives, and so maybe we need to like dig a little deeper and find out what that perspective of that person is, not just on
Mm-hmm.
weather, obviously,
And
but
assumptions, throw them
mm,
out, or when
yes,
it's challenged, when you had an idea and it got challenged in real time, there shouldn't be any shame in it for you. I think it's where you go, oh, this is a learning opportunity, and how excited you could be about embracing it as an opportunity to expand your mind and your horizons and your ideas. Because I feel that when we get so locked into some idea of what another person might do, or like, and granted, there are some people who are very specifically, they show you who they are, and then
mm-hmm,
you believe them. And then there's the people that you at least, and this is how I like to operate, is I don't want to be so cynical that I meet everybody with this point of caution, or this thought in my head that they're going to disappoint me, right? Or
okay,
they're going to they're going to lean into my idea that I already have in my head. That's me and my judgment. That's me locking in something. That's me not being flexible in how I am perceiving someone. And I think like that is why I give at least the first nugget of trust up front to go, everybody is trying their best. I want to believe that everybody is just trying their best, and they're they're leaning into their better angels all the time as much as they possibly can, and some days they slip.
yeah,
And so how much better our lives can be when we approach life from that perspective than being so hardened and like just introverted in such a way of essentially just pulling ourselves away from the potential of community, that we are just going to put up a wall all the time. It's such
yeah,
a lonely place for me, and I do understand there's people who've had many reasons to as to why they lean into that naturally, or they've been hurt a lot, and I don't want to take that away from them. I would love to take the hurt off of them clearly, but I don't want to take their actual lived experience away from them, because I'm not going to tell them how they have lived their life, and
Right.
what they've experienced. But um I do feel that by and large, humans want to be good humans for the
Yeah.
most part, from a percentage. And it's hard to keep that perspective when there's so many intrusive inlets of information that's trying to contradict that. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
think though that, you brought up a good point that we're not judging people, right? But we all have this learned history of, a person or whatever. And people will show you who they are, right? If somebody continues to disappoint you over and over and over again, we're not saying, sit there and just take it.
Hmm.
Absolutely
Hmm.
not, but know that information and then decide what you're going to do about that. Because, people can change absolutely, and some people it takes longer to change, or some people change in very small ways, And then it's up to you to decide how you want to be treated, or how you decide to accept that situation or that person, and what you want to do about that.
Right. And then how you're also treating other people too. Because I mean, when we
Absolutely.
think about that, when we're not always acting as our best selves, is how much that we can challenge that. So if we say, okay, well, I'm too old to learn something new. Well, that's not accurate, Or I am too much this way to ever change. Well, that's not accurate.
Right.
It's the little changes. It's that if not now, then when. Take that step, take that little step towards some kind of betterment in things, and give yourself a chance, And that's really what this I still feel like this is all about, even if we don't have like a very specific output every time we have this conversation. It's just going, what little thing am I doing? What little minor adjustment am I going to make that makes this like work out for the better? And we all own that for ourselves. That's
Right.
really what it comes down to, and what we want to inspire in each other, and what we want to hold for each other, and send that text and go, "Hey, I see you. You might be hiding right now, and I'm ready for you when you're ready to come back out."
Right.
And tell
Yeah.
me about what exciting thing, or what ideas you've got, or the feelings that you're dealing with. It's the
Yeah.
whole shebang. The reason why we're here.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that highlights something nice is we're not here to say, then when are you going to do something, right?
Yeah.
It's not always about a project or a thing. It's about you, yourself. So it could be, then when are you going to reach out to the person? Then when am I going to send this card that has been sitting on my desk
I have faith in you.
waiting to
Or
share a
then
little nugget with somebody? But yeah, then when are you gonna say hello? Then when are you gonna share a smile with someone?
then when are you gonna love yourself like the people that you support and love?
Oof.
Those are the things. Like, you take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on yourself.
Yes.
We're here to hear it. We're here to share that. We're here to celebrate your win, no matter how small. Literally, if it's something that
Yeah.
you just say, look, I finally put on a pair of shoes that I have never wanted to put on, or I just stepped outside today. Those are small in the grand scheme of like large things, but those are big things if you're feeling like they're big things. It's just,
Yeah.
it, those, that's what we look to in each other, is to go, want to at least inspire in others, without, essentially going, hey guys, I'm inspiring over here. It's just going, when do you take a chance on yourself? Because you're the only person you're going to be hanging out with for the rest of your life, like
Totally.
nonstop. So
Yeah.
you've got to start being kinder to yourself, and really, when you can, essentially project yourself outside you turn yourself towards yourself. I know this is getting crazy, but as like, and then really look and talk to yourself like you're in love with that person, and I think
Absolutely.
that is when you start making these decisions. We haven't, really gotten to the meat or the science behind some of that stuff yet. And I do hope we do get to that point. And right now, a lot of our stuff is anecdotal and talking to other people, but that's how we share our lives through our stories and storytelling.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it gets influenced by, you know, science and research and different things that we read or see.
Hmm.
And so it's nice to have someone like you who challenges me. I love when I call you about something and you're like, "Can I challenge that for a minute?" And I'm like, "Oof. Oh yeah, let do it.
Like,
Get it." Because not that many people do that, you know? A lot of people are there to listen and reassure, and maybe that's what we need in those moments, right? But also, it's nice to have a friend that you trust so much that can say, "Hey, let me ask you about this," or
hmm.
what about this perspective of this situation? And I feel like that is that golden nugget of love right there, right? Because that person is not judging you, that person is inspiring you to be better.
And I love it when you're basically going, okay, not you necessarily, like when you can go to somebody and go, hey, am I the asshole here? But here's what I'm feeling and I'm thinking, and like this is what's happened. And really opening it up, because I think like asking somebody for help and being that vulnerable and actually offering a space for that person to go, okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell you some hard stuff. Look, hey,
Yeah.
it really speaks volumes to how you feel about that other person, how you respect their opinion, how their experiences in their lives are, and even their opinion of you. So even though we're trying not to operate in that judgmental space, it's going, hey, look, you know the different versions of me. You've sat with all of these versions of me. So I want you to remind me what's good and what's
Yeah.
a little off, and sometimes I need that perspective from outside because I'm too in my head about it, or we are too in our heads about it. So I love those opportunities. I think those are great because I'm like, ooh, we get to sit down and like real talk. This is great,
Yes. Real talk with Mary and Serena.
Yeah, we rebranding right now.
No, of course not.
Just a
I love
segment.
our then when idea. No, yeah,
I
we'll
do
make
too.
it a side hustle. Okay.
So
Well,
yeah.
speaking of side hustles,
Hmm.
we are
Hustling to the side.
so hustling to the side. We're so glad you guys are here today. Check us
Mhm.
out on all of our social medias at Then When Pod. Check us out on Discord and share something that you guys get inspired by. We've got this great thread on Discord called Inspo. And share something that inspired you that day, whether it's a song or something you saw, or maybe just take a picture of a grocery store because something in there inspired you, or a book
Someone
that
in
you
there.
read. Yeah.
Yeah, just tell us your
Spread the love.
story. Yeah, and, like, we'd
Yes.
love to hear what you hear or what you get out of it, what you felt, how it moved you. Those are the things that are really great to hear and to share. And even if somebody told you that they were inspired by you, share your win in that too, just so it's real, like, you can get it out and there's not gloating, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, we wanna celebrate all of these different stories.
Absolutely.
But great. Well,
Thank you all so much for joining us today. And we'll see you on
next
the
time.
flip.
All
Then
right.
when?
Until when?
Until when? Dang it. One day I'll get it.
One day, if not
One
now,
day.
Mary.
Then when?
Mwah.
Goodbye, everyone.
So that's it for today's episode of Then When. Honestly, we could talk about this stuff forever, but we know you've probably got things to do, or at least a very long list of things you're thinking about doing.
It's been a blast, but before we head out, we want to hear from you. We're looking for your then and your when.
Exactly. If you've got a recent win you're proud of, that's your then. Or if there's a back burner dream item you've been putting off, that's your when.
Whether it's a total triumph or help, I'm procrastinating, we want to share your stories on the show.
Seriously, come say hi. You can DM us at thenwhenpod or shoot us an email. We can't wait to hear what you're working on.
Until next time, take care of yourself. We'll catch you on the flip.